fail to reverence God when we come into His presence and pray? Do we realize who we're praying to? Do we realize that it is a tremendous privilege for us even to come into His presence in prayer? We come before His face. You know, the people in the Old Testament reverenced God so much that they wouldn't even say or write the name God. They wouldn't even let it be spoken. They so reverenced Jehovah. I'm not saying we should become overly zealous in that way, but it's important, I think, to have a reverence when we're coming before the Lord. You remember the disciples came to Jesus and said, Lord, will you teach us how to pray? And He said, when you come before the Father, pray this way. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then He goes into the request. But the first part of the prayer is hallowing the Lord, reverencing the Lord. And that's what Jesus said. Pray that way when you come to the Father. It's not, oh Lord, I need this. I've got this and that issue. Now that's great. He says, come before me with all of those things. But first, reverence God. Humble yourself, as Daniel did here. The biggest part of his prayer here, Daniel, he's humble, he reverences God, and the vast majority of it is confession. Confession. Confessing the failure. And notice it's not they, our ancestors, all of those people that did wrong. I'm a righteous man before you, God, you know that. But all of our ancestors and people failed you. No, he says we, us, our nation, our people, we sinned against you. It is our fault. Their failure. I think we need to take ownership of our failure as believers. As a nation. Pray for our nation. Not those guys are running the country in the ground. Or those people in the gym should be in church. It's we as believers. I think we have enough as Christians. Look back at our history. All the things that we see in our country that have gotten off track. What if we as believers had been doing all the things God had called us to do to keep this nation righteous and holy instead of compromising our faith? Maybe it's time that we get down before the Lord and say, God, forgive us. Forgive us. Cleanse us. We have failed you. More we prayers and less they prayers, I think, are in order. Daniel had every right to do that. It wasn't his fault. He was in captivity. He was a young kid. He didn't do it, and he stayed true to his faith. He did everything God called him to do. But yet he puts the guilt on himself, and he asks God to forgive the country, the nation, the people of Israel. He says, any shame of faith belonged to Israel, not to God. I think another important application there is, it's not God's fault when things go south in our life. When things go south, when things go wrong, we need to look inwardly. What are we doing? What is going on? Oftentimes, maybe it's not something we directly did. It's something God is trying to show us, trying to reveal to us, to prepare us for what He's called us to do. Or maybe it has nothing to do with me. This is a great revelation in my life. When somebody told me one time, maybe something's going on in your life right now. It has nothing to do with you. God is using that in somebody else's life. You're just a bit part of this. Maybe you need to be less self-focused and think that God is in control and trust Him through it. That really, after I got done being mad at him, I said, maybe that's right. Maybe there's some truth in that. He didn't make excuses. He said, we have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our God. We have a tendency to rationalize or even complain to God when we should be confessing. Rationalizing, oh Lord, I'm kind of weak in that area. And we keep doing it. No. We need to repent. Confess and repent. Turn the other way. So the summation of this prayer, humility and reverence, confession, and then ownership, taking ownership of it. More we prayers, less they prayers are in order. Then verse 16 through 19, now he makes his request. O Lord, according to all your righteousness I pray, let your anger and your fury be turned away from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain, because of our sins and for the iniquities of our fathers. Jerusalem and your people are a reproach to all those around us. Now therefore, our God, hear the prayers of your servant and his supplications. And for the Lord's sake, cause your face to shine on your sanctuary, which is desolate. Oh my God, incline your ear and hear. Open your eyes and see the desolations in the city which is called by your name. Now listen to this. Pay attention here, please. For we do not present our supplications before you because of our righteous deeds, but because of your great mercies. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, listen and act. Do not delay. For your own sake, my God, for your city and your people are called by your name. You talk about a man pouring out his heart for his country, for his people. I pray that the Lord would stir us up to do that today. This country, I'll get on my soapbox for just a minute. Now, I've lived long enough now so that I can see the changes that's going on. I'm alarmed at where I see our country going. And God convicted me here that I need to be praying like this for my country. I think a country that was blessed by God, established by God for a purpose. Have we grown too complacent? Do we take our blessings for granted? I just pray that we would wake up before we too fall under judgment for willful disobedience. The model of the nation of Israel through history is eerily similar, I believe, to what's happening in America. But enough of that. I think the most important thing here that Daniel, as I pointed out there, is the latter part of verse 18. It's nothing that we bring. It's all God's mercy. We do not present our supplications before you because of our righteous deeds, but because of your great mercies. There's nothing we can do to make God love us more or love us less. I was brought up in a liturgical background, religion, that very much stressed what you do to measure up to God. And if somehow you did enough good things to God, that He would owe you something as a result of that. And those people that didn't do good things, God didn't give them things. So all I had to do was measure up and be better than most of my friends, and I was okay. And I could come to God, and if I'd done something, had better been particularly good, or gone to church, or done the things, and I really expected God to bless me as a result of that. When He didn't, I was mad. That's wrong thinking. We come to God only as believers because of the righteousness of Christ, because of our faith in Jesus Christ. We come to the God because of that. He does not see us as we are. He sees us through a veil that is the shed blood of Jesus Christ. He sees us that way. We can come into God that way. Not because of anything we did, but because of His mercy. I think we should come to God in a prayer. Just ask Him, Lord, just show us mercy and grace. You know, I've got all this list of things that I think I need, but Lord, just give me your mercy. Pour out your grace. And you know what? I think God would blow you away with what He would do, because I think we limit God oftentimes with what we think. Just say, God, pour out your mercy on my family in this house. I want your mercy, Lord. I don't even know what to ask for. I just want your mercy. And watch what the Lord will do. Now verse 20. Daniel's praying. He's pouring out his heart. And while I was speaking, praying, and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before the Lord my God for the holy mountain of my God. Yes, while I was speaking in prayer, the man Gabriel, the messenger angel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, Gabriel had given him one of the visions in the earlier chapters, being caused to fly swiftly, reached me about the time of the evening offering. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I have now come forth to give you skill to understand. At the beginning of your supplication, the command went out, and I have come to tell you, for you are greatly beloved. Therefore consider the matter and understand the vision. God sends Gabriel on a mission to answer his prayer. It's interesting to me that it took a while from the time that Daniel started his prayer. We don't know how long he was fasting and praying that Gabriel came to him. So it's interesting. You know, God is omniscient, omnipresent. He can be anywhere, any place at all times. But angels are not that. They're not God. They're created beings. They are limited somewhat. So he was sent on a mission, and he came to Daniel, and he talked to him, he gave him some great understanding that we're going to see here. He said to him, you are greatly beloved. It's interesting that both Daniel and John, the Revelator who wrote the book of Revelations, both these guys were called, had a love relationship with the Lord. The disciple whom Jesus loved was John, and it says here, Daniel is greatly beloved. Daniel's mind's about to get blown away here because he's been praying about the 70 years of captivity. God's going to really